back. I'm just here for the print.
We're going to be in height order.
Height order?
Height order.
We'll go on the other side.
Sure. What's the cue to?
It's 10.
It's
Are
10?
you guys all set and ready? Yes. Everybody ready?
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Raybrook. I'm Major Peter Arcady, Troop B Commander for the New York State Police. We're joined here this morning by members of the Cohoes Police Department, the U.S. Marshals, and the New York State Forest Rangers. This is a fluid, multi-agency investigation consisting of members of the U.S. Marshals Task Force, New York State Forest Rangers, U.S. Customs and Border Protection, Saranac Lake, Lake Placid, Plattsburgh City, and the Ticonderoga Police Departments, the Clinton and Essex County Sheriff's Departments, the Franklin County District, Northern Regional Response, several other agencies who are and the New York State Police with this ongoing investigation. I would like to discuss our suspect, 53-year-old Anthony G. Baysham, New York, who fled the scene of a homicide that occurred on Saturday, September 13th, 2025, at approximately 8:30 a.m. During the morning of Sunday, September 14th, 2025, the Cohoes Police Department received a call regarding a deceased female located inside a residence on Earl Ling Court. The Cohoes Police Department arrived on scene and located 41-year-old Amanda Rodriguez of Cohoes, New York, deceased. Our sincerest condolences go out to Amanda's family. An investigation determined that Anthony G. Bayshand, age 53, fled the scene, and on September 14th, 5:30 p.m., a white 2024 Chevrolet Silverado, known to be operated by and belong to Anthony Bayshand, was located on County Route 60 at the intersection with State Route 86 in the town of Brighton in Franklin County. Mr. Bayshand is described as a white male, approximately 5 feet 11 inches tall, hazel eyes, grayish-brown hair, weighing between 180 and 210 pounds. He is believed to have fled the area where his truck was located in an unknown direction with an unknown clothing description. There was indication from a search of the vehicle injury to his left side. However, the severity of this injury is unknown. Search efforts have commenced from the location of his truck throughout the surrounding areas. Law enforcement agencies are conducting organized searches over a several-mile radius from the hamlet of Gabriels. Our search efforts have been the mile-and-a-half area north towards Malone and south towards Lake Clear. During these searches, various methods have been used to include structure clearing techniques and grid searches to navigate the heavily forested terrain. Our law enforcement partners are utilizing a variety of resources, such as canines, drones, helicopters, and fixed-wing aircraft. We are also using ATVs, UTVs, and officers on foot. So far, we have logged over 600 miles of recorded tracks over an area covering more than 950 acres. Our teams have visited over 240 residents to conduct interviews and search the areas. The U.S. Marshals and Crime Stoppers are offering a combined $7,500 reward for information leading to the location and arrest of Mr. Bayshand. If anyone has seen Mr. Bayshand or may have unknowingly given him a ride, we strongly, I assure you, there will be no legal consequences. Anyone with information about his whereabouts is urged to contact him. I'm asking you to share any tips, even if you believe they've already been reported to law enforcement. 897-2000. We also ask that those of you hearing this message share it with your family and friends from outside the area. If you have trail cameras, please review the footage, as you may have pertinent information. If you notice anything suspicious, please report it immediately to law enforcement. With hunting season approaching in this area, we want to remind everyone to exercise caution. Please be aware of your surroundings and what you're shooting at, as there may be law enforcement present in the wooded areas. For those of you that will be present in the woods or traveling to your camps, be cognizant in those areas. If you notice campfires, campsites, strange odors, or anything unusual, please reach out to us. In closing, I want to express our deep sorrow for the loss of Amanda Rodriguez. Our goal is to bring her family justice and to locate Anthony Bayshan. Our number again for tips is 518-897-2000. Thank you for your attention. At this time, members of our investigative team will be available to take questions.
Is there evidence suggesting that he may have committed suicide?
There's nothing we have at this point in time to lead us to that conclusion.
Have family or close contacts been cooperative in the investigation so far? Is any information gleaned from talking to them?
All family and friends have been cooperative.
Have there been any evidence at all that he was here other than his truck? Like any other signs of his presence other than the truck?
No.
Do we believe he may have crossed the border to Canada?
It's one of those, we don't have any reason to believe, we don't have any leads leading us in that direction at this time. So until leads or information point us otherwise, we're still concentrating here in this area. Not that we're not searching or exploring those avenues.
Was his truck out of gas when it was found?
Yes, it was.
Are there any concerns that he might be in St. Lawrence County or maybe that way?
Same to like the Canadian question, that we don't have any information that leads us out that way, but we are still exploring those options and if we get tips for that area, we're following up on those.
What about his cell phone records or credit card activity? Anything on that?
So we don't have any recent cell phone or financial history with him.
You said there's evidence he fled. What is that evidence?
Fled from Cohoes to up here. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, like fled from the scene. What evidence was there that he was there at the time of the murder?
I could tell you that through the investigation conducted down there and interviews with some of the neighbors, they saw his truck there, and then they saw his truck leave. They were able to determine was the time of the incident.
What led investigators to believe that he sustained an injury in leaving his truck or at that scene?
There was forensic biological evidence in the truck.
Is there any previous criminal record?
For Mr. Bishan, no, that was previously stated. He has no prior criminal history.
Why is the search just being focused a 1.5 mile radius from the truck?
For that concentration was a grid search to look for any signs of direction that he may have went or where he may be now.
Does he have any known ties to the area? Any family, friends, anybody? Does he go hunting up in hunting cabins or anything like that would lead you up there?
We don't have any information that he had any ties to this area other than the victim.
I know it's densely forested area, so can you describe some of the challenges in searching these forests?
For anybody that's been up in this area, I mean, the woods up here, especially in the Adirondacks, not only do we have, significant elevation, but the terrain, the forest is very, very densely populated. In some areas, while we're doing grid searches, we can only be 3 to 5 feet apart from each other.
Should Anthony be considered armed and dangerous?
I would say that, yes. I mean, we don't have anything to say that he's armed, but we always have to use that caution, and especially up here in the North Country, that I would say yes.
Did he have a past criminal record by any?
No, there was no prior criminal history.
So would this matter be considered a threat to the public?
I believe that there is a threat to the public, right? You have somebody who we think is responsible for committing a homicide who is now desperate and on the run. So yes, for those reasons, we think that there is concern for the public.
What's the advice to folks who live in this area right now?
Could you say that again? What's the advice?
To folks who live in that area.
So I think what's important to emphasize is what we would ask. This is an appeal to the public and those that are here in the area or have camps in the area or residences in the area, seasonal homes in the area, or any suspicious activity. You know, as the major stated, we would want to make sure that they come forward and share that information with us because that information may lead us to this, to Bishan.
But in terms of like just personal safety, like folks going out for a hike alone, folks who live in the area where his truck was found.
At night?
Yeah, is there, what's the message to people who live in the area and who are out and about?
Stay alert, be aware. Perhaps don't go places alone, right? Like make sure that people are aware of where you're going.
And let somebody know where you're going so that your family knows, your friends know, and they know what time you're expected to be back.
Are you positive that he acted alone in the killing of Amanda Rodriguez and is still alone now?
First part, yes, we believe that he was alone. Second part, we don't know if you know whether he's gotten help in unintentional or intentional help up here in this area.
Have police heard from anyone who saw him here? Like, by the truck?
There is no sightings of him since we know that the
cell phone activity was last in the area where the truck was left.
How far away from the border is the truck? For people who aren't sure, you know, the topography from the border, and especially on foot, how long would it take him if he did make a...
There's a lot of variables with that one. That one's really kind of a difficult question to answer.
So more than likely, it would take him a while to...
Yeah, it would take definitely some time.
So with the cell phone last being seen at the truck, were state police able to, or investigators able to access it when information was looking for, and was anything from that?
The physical device was not there.
Have you worked with Canadian law enforcement? Have you had conversations with them about the situation? You know, what have they said?
We've made notification to the Canadian counterparts. You know, that they're aware of the situation. But again, we don't have anything directly to information to provide to them to get them to search in a certain area, but they are aware of the situation.
And we have a good working relationship with the Canadian authorities. So.
Has a murder weapon been found?
I wouldn't want to comment on some of the specifics. We can't get into those because of the potential of a pending prosecution. We just can't get into some of the details of the evidence that we have.
Could it be possible that someone drove in a different car up here, or is there evidence to rule that out?
We believe the most likely scenario is that he came up here alone.
Was Camp Gabriel searched? The
So,
former state prison?
several times.
Have you spoken to family and friends of Anthony? If so, you know, what have they said about his characteristics? Was he a violent person?
I don't have any information on the interviews that were conducted.
Yeah, as far as the information regarding the family interviews and stuff like that, as far as that information, we were asking more about like what he is like up here, and as far as his past history, there was no indication that he would be violent up here, but also giving why we're looking for him, we obviously can't rule that out either.
I think this question's already been asked too, but did he have any sort of connections to the North Country up here or anything like that?
The only connection he had to the North Country was the victim's family.
What led to Rodriguez's mother calling police with concern?
She hadn't talked to her daughter, and I think that was unusual to go 24 hours without speaking, so she asked a friend to go and check the residence.
How frustrating is this investigation?
Who are you asking?
Any one of you?
So I don't look at it as frustration. I look at it as like we're facing a difficult task, and we all are working together to embrace that task and get after the problem and locate and capture Bishan.
I agree with what he's saying. I think that we all want this to come to a quick resolution, but the level of cooperation and the amount of effort that's put into it, there's no frustration there because this is an amazing example of teamwork and the tremendous effort being conducted between forest rangers and the marshals and all the law enforcement partners the major previously mentioned. In that regard, I've never seen anything that's worked as well as this has, but there is obviously that underlying frustration of not having found him yet.
How does it compare to other searches, especially if you take out the fact that it's a rural wooded?
So the one thing that is a little different, right, is that we are in this rugged environment in the Adirondacks, right? So I know you just mentioned that, but that makes this search unique. We also have a scenario where the last proof of life has been over a week now, right? So that can occur with other searches by comparison, but sometimes, we're just waiting for that breadcrumb of evidence or information that's going to help lead us to capturing him.
How long will the search be active?
It's really not we don't have like a deadline set or some sort of next triggering event that's going to conclude this massive search effort. We have not even discussed it. And so right now our posture is we are all in. This team up here and our law enforcement professionals and partners around the region are all in on this. And our aim is to locate and capture him.
When you say all in, can you detail exactly or approximately how many law enforcement personnel have been involved in the search?
My estimations would be probably over 100, maybe even approaching 200 in terms of law enforcement professionals. On any given day, you have between 30 and 50 in the last week. Is that a fair estimate?
With it hunting season, and you're going to have more boots on the ground, basically passively searching, how much do you think that would help as far as covering the terrain? Because obviously there's going to be a lot of people that are going to be looking not only for game, but also him as well.
Yes, that's a great question, and that ties into that appeal to the public. We really, your eyes and ears are extremely important, and anything out of the ordinary, anything that you think might be suspicious or might be connected to Bishan, we definitely want to hear from hunters or homeowners in the region. We want to hear from them.
Are there any changes to that 30 to 50 people per day going forward if nothing happens, or at least for the time being?
So that's a great question. As I stated, we really don't have an end date in mind right now, but sure, at some point in time, if we continue and there is zero signs or evidence to suggest that he's still in the area, then of course we'll have to reevaluate the resources that are committed to it.
But that's not being done at this time?
No, we are focused on the task ahead and are fully committed to this.
I'm wondering, are there any law enforcement that are out there searching for him right now that have also searched for the two more as well? Is there any sort of overlap there? Any sort of characteristics or similarities that law enforcement is seeing in terms of how to tackle this approach, how to find him?
So you do have, standing before you, you do have veterans of the Dannemora escape here. Many of us were involved in that back in June of 2015. And we are borrowing from that playbook, right, in terms of what efforts were made then that could help in future searches.
Information is there to
we don't have anything conclusive to suggest that he's alive or deceased. However, we are, as you explore different possible theories or outcomes that could have happened here, right? Because of the amount of effort in the search in this area, we believe that it's less likely that he's deceased and more likely that he is alive and still here in the area.
And
go ahead.
And were there any drugs or substances found in the vehicle?
No, there wasn't.
Does he have a history of drug use?
He's never been arrested for it before, so as far as any unknown drug history or anything else, not that I'm
It's never been.
Going off on the hunting season, it's also leaf peeping season in the area. Are there any concerns that he could have hitched a ride and be well out of the area by now?
Yes, that's a viable outcome as well.
In terms of the injury sustained at the truck, do investigators think it would have anything to limit his mobility drastically, or would he still be able to cover ground as if it was injured?
It's too difficult to tell or determine from what was in the truck, just that there was evidence supporting the fact that he may have some type of injury.
Blood?
Yes.
And I assume that you've reached out to local hospitals and there hasn't been anybody turning up with his description?
Correct.
Are you using cadaver dogs?
We've used a bunch of different types of canine assets, everything from bloodhounds to tracking dogs to cadaver dogs to a bunch of different type of canine resources.
Have you done a toxicology test on the blood?
All the forensic evidence is still at the lab being tested.
Is it possible the blood is the victim's and not his?
I don't believe so.
Have you spoken with any of the victims, family or friends, about anything they might help you to lead you to Anthony?
They've all been spoke to. There's no direct information because he doesn't have ties to this area. So there's no direct information really that would lead us or point us in a certain direction for this particular search.
Can someone speak to the relationship between the it was?
I don't know the exact length of time. I know that she had resided in that house in Cohoes for, not sure how long relationship.
There was mention of possible connection of the victim to the North Country. What is that connection? Family, friends?
The victim's family.
Where specifically? Is it in Malone? Is that?
In the Franklin County area from Malone and, the Malone area.
How are they feeling, knowing that he's still out there?
I can't answer that.
Is it fair to say that no evidence outside of his truck has been found to suggest, or connected to him? Because nothing has been found, right?
Correct.
With no new significant updates in this search, what was the goal of today's press conference? Was it just to reassure the public that you guys are continuing to search for him and, there's a plea out there for help?
Yeah, we want the public to know that we're out there searching as hard as we possibly can, given the weather and the terrain, and that we need their help, and we solicit their help in helping us find him. I mean, with the leaves coming off the trees and more people getting back into the woods, into their camps, we're hoping somebody will see something and say something to us.
Is it possible to get the names and titles of the other 3 guys who've been talking?
Yes.
Can you, just say them
Yeah.
out
And
loud?
spell them?
And spell.
Yeah.
Sure. So my name is Stu Smith, S-T-U, last name Smith, and I'm the Assistant Chief Inspector with the U.S. Marshal Service.
Todd Walden, Toddwaldin, and Police Chief for the City of Cohoes.
Trevor Giroux, Trever, Girous, Senior Investigator of Major Crimes.
Of the
For the
police?
state
New York
police?
State Police.
State Police, yes.
And just so I get this right too, where for him right now? I want to make sure I get that part right. Where's the search happening now?
So the searches today are concentrating, we're going more out toward the cabin areas, campsites. We're still doing those type of searches today. Due to some of the weather constraints today, we're concentrating on that type of searching. Finding the camps, cabins, campsites, any type of structure like that somebody would try to get out of the weather or anything like that.
Is there directionality to that, or just out from where the truck is found in all directions?
So, Yeah, I mean, each day, obviously, we have different thoughts, different plans that we're going with. Yeah, today we're concentrating both north and to the western areas.
Just to go more detail about why do you believe that he is still alive rather than deceased?
I come to that conclusion, and I think Trevor does as well, because of the level of effort, the intensive search effort here in the immediate vicinity of where the truck was. We think it's most probable that if he were to have committed suicide, that it would have been somewhat close to where the truck was, right? And because of that comprehensive search of that region and not discovering his remains, that leads me to believe that he's likely to still be alive.
You mentioned that he didn't have any ties up here, that the victim had ties up here, and yet he was making his way up here. Was he going to the victim's family, do we think, or have we explored that, why he was coming up here?
Obviously, that would be a thought, but there's nothing to lead us to that conclusion whatsoever.
Would there be a heightened level of concern for the family that if he's out there, he's still trying to theoretically make his way to them and potentially do harm?
Again, we don't have anything leading us to that conclusion. We're staying in contact with the family and let her know that, you know, the search efforts are continuing. We're constantly having our patrols, our members who are doing the searching also concentrating and touching base with them on a basis.
How many tips have come in?
I would say at this point in time, we're over probably 200 tips
Any
that
of
we
them
followed up on.
Any of them helpful?
Not yet, not at this point in time, but we're still following up on anything. And again, kind of, at any point in time, it could just be that one little tiny piece of information that kind of gets us going back in the right direction of where he's headed to.
But just speaking on those tips, we are extremely appreciative that the public is reaching out and with good information. You know, some that closely resemble matching matching Bishan that we are following up on. So it's been extremely helpful that the tips are coming in, whether it's to help us confirm or deny a possible sighting of Bishan.
For people who are seeing this press conference now and are wondering where's a picture of him, where's the easiest place to find a picture of him, his description, where's the easiest place to pull up that information?
I think that's been released a few times from the state police, and it's available online. And then after this press conference, we can make sure that you have images of him. And we appreciate you asking that question because we want to make sure we got quality images out there of him that could
And the proper
assist.
pronunciation of his last name is it Bishan?
Well, that's a good question. I followed the chief's lead. I think, the major's lead. I think they pronounce it Bishan, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
This is a question for Chief Walden. Could you describe the crime scene a little bit? You know, the injuries she sustained, just anything more from that scene?
I really can't, beyond what we already released, the direct verbiage from the death certificate that we put out to the press. I really can't get into the details of the crime scene.
Is he the only suspect?
The way I've phrased it before is that you explore all the avenues, obviously, and anything, that gives you evidence is what you're going to follow. And when you start with close friends, family members, and relatives, and you're able to speak to all of them and rule them out, you have to make the one person who was her intimate partner and the one who resided with her and now can't be found going on 12 days, the prime suspect. But I wouldn't say from the beginning that, the focus was entirely on him. You have to just look at every possible connection that there is.
So is it possible that he too could be a victim and could have been brought here against his will?
I think that's extremely unlikely and not part of the equation.
This will be the last question, okay? Whoever decides to send it out.
Would you
Does
say
everybody
that,
have an? Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
No, you go. Mine was just kind of a closer.
Would you say that there is sufficient evidence that he committed this murder?
Chief, that's to you.
There is a lot of evidence that has been recovered, and there's more being recovered every day. A lot of the search warrants take time, a lot of the electronic devices, and a lot of phone downloads and other things that you need to put the case together completely. But from what the investigators have found so far, there is a lot of evidence that points to Mr. Bichand, yes.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming until we solve this.
I didn't expect it to be me, I'm like, percentages would have been one of you guys.
Well, I don't really want to.
We have one that was really one of our and that was a lot. Mind just definitely on the side.